Alright, what's going on, guys? So, again, it has been an amazing week for From Software fans with yesterday's big announcement of Elden Ring. The trailer absolutely blew all of us away and gave us an amazing amount of content to look through, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. So we just got done with a live stream going very deep into the trailer, which was a lot of fun. Now, this video is going to be a follow-up to yesterday's breakdown where we talked about the overview and some of the major lore of the game. So if you haven't seen that one, I definitely recommend going and checking that out before you watch this video, but either way, we're going to recap everything. There are also a couple other videos we did a long time ago covering some different leaks that turned out to be true, so if you want to watch those, go do that as well. But either way, be sure you're subscribed to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Elden Ring news and for some other cool Souls videos that I think you'll enjoy. But without any further ado, let's get into the breakdown. So in case you missed yesterday's video, here's the major points. This is the official overview that Bandai Namco posted for the lore of Elden Ring and the story that we'll be playing through. I don't have time to read it all to you, so go ahead and pause because we have a lot to go through. So first off, in yesterday's video I kept calling the tree the end tree, however it's supposed to be the Erd tree, I just read that wrong. So we learned that the Elden Ring is the source of power and life for the Erd tree, and the offspring of MARIKA have stolen the shards of the Elden Ring known as the Great Runes. These shards gave them power, and as a result it started a war known as the Shattering. And we now have a pretty good theory as to who the offspring are and what the power of the shards is exactly. So then, who are the offspring? Later in the trailer we get this very interesting shot. I want you to ignore everything and focus on the picture of the king in the background. We're gonna come back to him later, but for now look at that flowing white hair. If we take for a moment that this king is the husband of Queen MARIKA, then that helps us identify who the offspring might be. We have this boss at the end of the trailer, who tells us that we're playing as a lord and that we should kneel before him. Now we've seen this guy before back in the 2019 trailer, attaching more arms to his limbs. Now you'll notice that he has that same flowing white hair and wears a crown, and commands us to kneel, which suggests that he's in a position of power or believes he is. I think that's a very strong connection. We also see two other potential candidates for offspring. The first is this creature we fight in the catacombs, wearing a crown. You'll notice that like the other one, he has several more arms than he should, almost built like a spider or arachnid. Now I can't seem to find white hair on this one, but he is wearing a crown and the cloth that he wears is very similar to the last one. The next potential offspring is the boss we fight right here. Now you'll notice that he wears a similar cloth and the tentacles sticking out of his head seem to resemble a crown. He does have the white hair of the king though. You'll notice something special about him. He seems to have almost a scorpion tail, which leads me to what I believe the power of the shards or the Great Runes is exactly. If we think about the Elden Ring being the source of power for the Erd tree, and matter being distorted the closer we get to the tree, as I explained in yesterday's video, I believe the tree has the power to hold matter together. And with the Elden Ring being shattered, the tree no longer has its source of power, therefore matter is distorted, causing things like pots and rocks to come to life. Therefore, if the offspring of MARIKA have fragments of the Elden Ring, theoretically they could distort matter to their own will, in a way such as attaching arms to themselves or scorpion tails, or even the head of a tiger or a wolf. Notice both the Tiger Knight and the Wolf Knight both have that flowing white hair. There's further evidence to back this up. Now, let's take a look at this portrait of the king again. Take a look at his arm that's holding the sword. Do you notice anything? If you look closely, you can see what seem to be snake tails wrapping around his arm. One of you guys pointed out to me that his face looked very familiar and the snakes reminded you of something. Well, turns out we've seen him before, only in a different form. You might remember this concept art that leaked a long time ago, that we covered here on the channel. Now, the picture isn't in the best quality, but let's put them side by side. You can clearly see that these are the same person. The face is identical, the crown is very similar, and there's the snake motif, even down to the same color. So I can't prove it, but I really think that the mutated creatures with multiple arms or limbs of other living creatures are the offspring of Queen MARIKA and this king. And the tainted strength of the shards of the Elden Ring gives them the power to distort matter in their own fashion, or at least merge themselves with other living creatures. And again, I can't prove that, that's just my personal theory, and I think it's very striking. So the next thing I want to talk about is another motif that rapidly pops up throughout the trailer, and that is the covering of faces or wearing a Leper King mask. So with the idea of the shattering of the Elden Ring distorting matter, it's likely that the appearance of people inhabiting the land would have been distorted as well. If you'll notice throughout the trailer, the only person we see with a normal face is the maiden herself, and even then we only see the bottom half of the nose and mouth. All other humans are either undead, distorted, or covering their faces. And there's evidence of some kind of rot or disease going throughout the land. We can see this with the Valkyrie. Take a look at her face, but look closely. It seems normal until you look at her right eye. There's a rot spreading along it, and then she covers her face with her mask. We then get a rapid shot of all different kinds of action scenes, but notice every single human in this is covering their face or wearing a mask of some sort. This NPC, the queen, this guy, they're all covering their faces. Why? We don't have any official information as to why that is, but I can almost guarantee you it's because of the shattering. Next, I want to take a look at a potentially new magic system that could be in the game. So I want you to ignore all the spells we've seen before, such as Soul Greatsword and Soul Stream, and look at this instance of what a lot of people think is summoning. Look at what the player is holding in his hand. It's some kind of cube that emits this purple aura. A lot of people are thinking this is like the summoning bell in Bloodborne, and that these blue phantoms are some kind of like blue sentinels from Dark Souls. However, I don't think this is the case. We can see them both pop up at the exact same time, and if you've played Dark Souls before, you know that never happens. Now obviously this is a trailer and it could be editing or from software manipulating the game to cause them to spawn at the same time. However, we have another piece of concept art that suggests differently. Take a look at this piece of official artwork. In this, we can see the player holding up the same cube and it summons a bird as an ally. Now we see that the player is in combat, so it suggests to me that this is a new form of conjuration magic. Also take a very close look at the bird. You can almost see chains on its back. It's clearly pulling something because you can definitely see that those are not its legs coming from the back. So to me, it would seem that this cube is some new form of summoning magic that can conjure small creatures or even NPCs to come help you fight. But that's just my thoughts on it. Now I have a long list of other stuff that I want to cover, including new gameplay changes, but I'm gonna save that for part 3. Yesterday we also crossed 3,000 subscribers, and I cannot say thank you enough for that. Now I have a massive project that I've been working on for a long time. Once we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm gonna unveil that to you guys, and I am beyond excited to share that with you. But guys, please be sure to subscribe so you can catch part 3 of this breakdown. I'm gonna be staying on top of all the updates for Elden Ring, and I'm gonna be keeping you guys informed, so you're not gonna want to miss any of that. Now, if I told you something that you didn't notice before, please leave a like on the video and share it if you don't mind to, and I'll see you next time for part 3.